Good morning. This week we are back on project house build. Now there is quite a bit gone on because we haven't been here for a while now. In the montage at the end we'll show you a few snippets of what we've been getting up into the house, but there's a few bits in there that we are not ready to show at this stage. So there's not going to be a massive amount in this video of inside, but what we have got on this video is a project that normally we start a lot, or certainly I start a lot of jobs and they never quite get finished. In fact, this is pretty much the same. We've started it, it's not quite finished, but it's going to be finished very, very soon because we've got on tomorrow actually, we've got Just Granite coming over and they are coming over to template the worktops. And then we have a few bits that I've ordered online. We've got JDC and the guys coming in hopefully Monday, Tuesday of next week, and they're going to do their bits. So the next time we come to the house build, you'll see the completed product. But right now, take a look at this. So this is it. What we have got here is a Victorian Rowmore Robinson's greenhouse. So it's aluminium frame, it's real glass. I didn't want the plasticky substitute. So I wanted real glass, I wanted aluminium, I wanted it sort of anthracite in colour, I wanted it to look smart, I wanted the gable, I had the fancy pieces on the roof. It really, really does look good. It's gone in here absolutely perfect. Papa G is chuffed to bits because he's going to spend a lot of time in here as well, making sure from a fruit and veg front we are off grid. So we had this from a company called The Greenhouse People, which is just a firm on the internet that I found. I started looking around, I had 3 quotes from 3 firms that was recommended by a friend of mine, and they were massive, massive money. So we went away, I went back to the internet, started again, and I found this one on The Greenhouse People's website, and value for money I think was brilliant in comparison to the other products. There's some real clever bits that we'll get onto in a minute with it, but ultimately what we had was the Rowmore, which sat on a dwarf wall. So you can have this one that sits right down to the floor, but I wanted it to have the dwarf wall around the edge, and I'll explain why. Not just aesthetically from the outside, but from the inside, it sort of suited the arrangement that we wanted to do. So we bought it as a kit form. We had it delivered just before Christmas, and we finally got round a couple of weeks ago to trying to get it put up. Now, as shed erectors, I thought to myself, between all of us, we'll get our heads around this and we'll get it done. We got the instructions out. I think I said in a previous video, we had one set of instructions that then you have to match with the other one because it's not the 15 foot, it's the 20 foot one, and so on and so forth. And we took the executive decision to throw it all back in the box and ring one of their fitters. So I rung The Greenhouse People. They give me the contact for Big Dave and the Sunshine Gang. Dave basically laughed on the phone at me. He said that most of the time it's the wife that is ringing saying the husband is throwing his toys around the garden because he can't put up his 8 foot by 6 foot bog standard greenhouse. So he said us trying to erect this one ourselves was completely ridiculous. So after he'd stopped laughing, he come over, he had a look, he weighed the job up, and within 3 days he had put this up. Within 3 days we were still sat looking at plans. So I'm glad that we called him out, and I'm glad that we got him out to do it. He has done a belting good job, so a massive thank you and shout out to Dave and the Sunshine Gang. So what we need now to do is it's got to have a real good clean down, which I don't know how we're going to do yet because I don't fancy a brush going boom, 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 boom over all my nice frames, and also I don't fancy leaning over the glass to clean it. So might get one of the window cleaners from the town to come and do this for us. Inside here we've got a few bits to finish off now. So Clayton has been doing the tanking solution which goes in each one of these pots, which I'll explain what we're doing with in a minute. So thank you, Clayton, for being a professional tanker. But the idea is we've used that tanking slurry to go around the inside. Now these two here, we've made the outer walls, which are double skin, to take that and act as the inside of a border on here, on the inside. And we've made basically 2 borders that we're going to fill them with soil, and then I'm going to put some form of like an archway here, and then we can let actual plants grow up and grow around the top here. These other ones then, Papa G wants all of them for, I don't even know what for, but for seeds and for plants, tomatoes, peppers, everything that you do grow in a greenhouse. I'm not very green fingered at the minute, but the idea is I would like to be at some point. But his idea then is to get all of the stuff in here started in the next few weeks, ready to go into the raised borders outside when the weather breaks. So spin round. So then on these 4 pillars that we've got here, we've got pillar caps going on, which will match what we've got going on outside on top of the raised borders. And then this end here, same as the end behind you, we will have effectively a worktop. So this is one of the things that Just Granite are coming to template on tomorrow. So they're coming out and they're going to template this, and then we're going to put I can never remember whether it's granite or a quartz top. If you put normal sort of worktop out of a kitchen that's chipboard, I think the environment in here will be too high of a moisture content, and therefore it would swell and blow. And price wise, the granite or the quartz is not dissimilar to the worktop that we were looking at for in here anyway. So that's going to have a worktop on. So this is effectively going to be the end where the potting goes on. So the potting bench. The far end behind you, there will be, same again, there's some bench there, but there's also a sink so you can wash your hands. There's going to be the tap under the bench. We've got a couple of heaters to go in here so that we can start the seeds off early on, which is what Papa G said we need. And just for good measure, the little section in the middle, I'm also having a top on so we can put a water feature in there. So now picture, it's a nice day. Papa G is stood in here with his massive straw sombrero. He is here, he's got his little background whale music on in the background. He's got his plants potted out here. He's got all the plants and the nice fragrances around the room. And he's got the tranquil noise of the cascading water in the background, making him need the loo every 5 minutes. Yeah. So then the idea with this tanking solution is this in the bottom, we've got an ACO. So that just needs cleaning out. These tops will be basically put back on there. Then we'll put a layer of terram through. We'll put stone in, like gravel, pea gravel, to like this height. And then anything that does fall in is filtered before it goes effectively into the drains. So that's what's going to happen with that. And that will then have 2 different heights. It'll have the height here at the top where we can put a tray for the seeds, and then as stuff gets a bit bigger, you can just sit it down onto the stone. Then we've got the windows. So these windows here are manual. So they're just basically a vent. So that's just, I don't know, if you need more ventilation, I suppose. And then finally, the last bit is up the top here. So these are vented windows, but you can't obviously reach them to open them and close them. So what we've got going on up there is, in fact, they're pretty clever. They've got like a wax piston on it. So as the temperature rises in here, as I understand it, it melts the wax and forces the piston out, which then opens the window. So I don't quite know how that's going to work yet with the heaters, because obviously when you put the heaters on, you would argue you want the heat to stay in. So I don't know how that doesn't then open the vent and then let all the heat out. So I'm going to have to speak to Dave and Sunshine Gang to see how that works. So that is it. I'm absolutely chuffed to bits with what we've had. A massive thank you to the greenhouse people. Fantastic to deal with, great value for money. And they pointed me in the direction of Dave and the Sunshine Gang for putting this up. A massive shout out and thank you to him. They come in a real reasonable time frame. It didn't cost a lot of money for them to come out and do it. And ultimately they've done something that we could have done faster, but probably not. And they come and did it for us. We've got a few bits more to go on. Corey and the guys, thank you for the brickwork. That's all done. Clayton, thank you very much for being a professional tanker in this area as well as everywhere else you've been doing. Finally, thank you to Wayne, because Wayne is obviously still project managing this and he's done a belting good job of making it all come together. So that's it for this week. If you like what you've seen, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and we will leave you with in fact, we're going to go with a massive montage of Dave and the Sunshine Gang putting my nice new shiny Romore Victorian greenhouse up with a tiny little bit of stuff going on in the house, but we're not going to show you a great deal because I don't want to show you what's going on in the house just yet, and we're definitely still not showing you the front porch montage. Boom.